I want you to think about something. And I mean, really sit with this before your mind tries to explain it away. You meet someone and they are genuinely good to you. They text when they say they will. They show up when they commit to showing up. They speak to you with kindness. They are consistent. They are present. They are real. And instead of feeling grateful, instead of feeling relieved, instead of finally feeling safe, you feel anxious. Something feels off. Something feels too good. Something in you is waiting, bracing, scanning for the thing that's about to go wrong. Because in your experience, it always does. And so instead of receiving what's being offered, you pull back, you test them, you overthink every text. You look for the red flag hiding underneath the kindness. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice says, "This can't be real. People don't just treat you this well. What do they want from me?" If you have ever felt that, you are not broken, you are not ungrateful, you are not self sabotaging on purpose. You are someone whose nervous system learned to survive in environments where love was not safe. And today, we are going to talk about why. Welcome back to Inner Echoes Collective. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found this space because what we're going into today is one of the most misunderstood experiences in healing and relationships. Why does genuine love feel so uncomfortable? Why does consistency make you nervous? Why does someone treating you well feel more threatening than someone treating you badly? We're going to answer all of it, and we're going to do it with a top 10 list of the specific reasons this happens so that by the end of this video, you don't just understand it intellectually, you feel it, you recognize it, and you have something real to work with going forward. Let's go. What your nervous system learned before you could choose. Before we get into the list, I need to lay one piece of foundation because everything else builds on it. Your nervous system is not irrational, it is not broken, it is doing exactly what it was trained to do. From the time you were a child, your nervous system was collecting data about what love looks like, about what safety feels like, about what to expect from the people who are supposed to be closest to you. And if the data it collected was love is inconsistent, people leave when you need them most, affection comes with conditions, closeness leads to pain, then your nervous system built an entire operating system around that data. And now, when someone comes along who doesn't fit that data, who is consistent where you expected inconsistency, who is safe where you expected danger. Your nervous system doesn't celebrate, it sends an alarm. This doesn't match what I know. Something is wrong. Danger. Not because something is wrong, but because something is different. And to a nervous system built on old pain, different and dangerous feel exactly the same. The top 10 reasons you feel anxious when someone treats you right, number one. You were never taught that love could feel safe. This is where it all begins. Most people who struggle to receive healthy love grew up in environments where love came packaged with something else: anxiety, unpredictability, conditions, silence. And when you grow up experiencing love that way, your nervous system files it under "this is what love is." So when someone comes along and offers you something different, something clean and consistent and kind, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like something foreign, something you don't quite have a category for, because the version of love your nervous system recognizes has edges to it, tension to it, uncertainty to it. And love without those things feels less like love and more like something you haven't figured out yet. This is not your fault. You cannot recognize as safe what you were never shown was possible, but you can learn. And recognizing this pattern is exactly where that learning begins. Number two, consistency feels suspicious because inconsistency was normal. Let me describe something. Think about what it felt like to be in a relationship or dynamic where you never knew what you were going to get. Some days warm and present, other days cold and distant, some moments chosen and cherished, other moments invisible and irrelevant. Living in that kind of unpredictability does something to your nervous system. It keeps you in a constant state of low level alertness, always reading the room, always anticipating the shift, always bracing for the withdrawal. And after living in that state long enough, it becomes your baseline. So when someone consistent comes along, when there is no shift to anticipate, no withdrawal to brace for, no room to read, your nervous system doesn't know what to do with the stillness. The quiet feels wrong. The consistency feels like a trick. And instead of relaxing into it, you find yourself waiting for it to end. When are they going to show me who they really are? But here's the truth you need to hear. What they're showing you right now is who they really are. Your past taught you to distrust consistency, not them. Number three, you feel unworthy of being treated well. This one lives deep, deeper than most people are comfortable admitting. But I'm going to say it directly because you deserve to hear it clearly. Some part of you doesn't believe you deserve to be treated this well. Not consciously, not in a way you would say out loud, but underneath the surface, there is a quiet belief that has been operating in the background of your relationships for a very long time. People like me don't get loved like this. Something must be wrong with them if they think I'm worth this. This level of care is for other people. And so when someone offers it to you, instead of receiving it, you question it, you deflect it, you minimize it, or you wait for them to figure out that they made a mistake choosing you. That belief did not come from nowhere. It was handed to you by people who should have shown you your worth instead of making you question it. And it has been running silently in the background of every relationship since. The work is not to find someone who loves you in spite of your unworthiness. The work is to dismantle the belief that you were ever unworthy to begin with. Number four, kindness feels like manipulation because it has been before. This one is painfully specific and deeply important. If you have been in relationships or dynamics where kindness was a tactic, where someone was warm and generous right before they asked for something, where affection was a prelude to control, where love was used as leverage, then your nervous system learned to associate kindness with risk. It learned that when someone is being especially good to you, something is coming. And now, when someone is genuinely kind, when there is no agenda beneath the warmth, when the affection is just affection, your body doesn't experience it as love. It experiences it as the calm before the storm. And you brace yourself for what's coming next, even when nothing is coming. Healing this particular wound requires you to let kindness land without immediately looking underneath it, not naively, but with the growing awareness that not everyone is performing warmth as a prelude to pain. Some people are just kind, and you are allowed to receive that. Number five, you don't know how to receive without feeling in debt. This one is quieter than the others, but it runs through everything. When someone does something consistently good for you, when they show up without being asked, when they remember the thing you mentioned in passing, when they choose you without making you feel like you have to earn it every day, do you feel grateful? Or do you feel like you owe them something? Like you need to immediately reciprocate to balance some invisible scale? Like the kindness being given creates an obligation you didn't agree to. This is one of the most common and least talked about patterns in people who struggle to receive love. The inability to accept good things without immediately calculating what they'll cost you. And it comes from relationships and environments where nothing was given freely, where everything had a price, where love came with expectations attached that were never spoken aloud but always present. Receiving without owing is a skill. And like every skill that love should have taught you early, it can be learned now. But first, you have to notice when the calculation is happening because you cannot interrupt a pattern you haven't learned to see yet. Number six, being seen fully feels terrifying. Think about this for a moment. In the relationships and dynamics where love was conditional or painful, you learn to manage how much of yourself you let someone see. You learn to present the version of you that was most likely to be accepted, the capable one, the low maintenance one, the one who doesn't need too much, the one who keeps it together. And that performance, that careful curation of yourself, kept you somewhat protected. Because if they only see part of you and they leave, at least they didn't reject all of you. But when someone healthy comes along, when they actually want to see all of it, the uncertain parts, the tender parts, the still healing parts, that level of visibility is terrifying because being fully seen means being fully vulnerable. And being fully vulnerable means they have the full capacity to fully hurt you. But here is what healing asks you to consider: being fully seen is also the only way to be fully loved. The version of connection you get when you're performing and protected is not intimacy, it is managed distance with warmth on top. And you deserve more than that. Number seven, you are waiting for the mask to drop. This one keeps people stuck longer than almost anything else because it feels like wisdom. It feels like you're being smart, like you're protecting yourself, like you've learned from the past. But there is a version of this that stops being protection and starts being self sabotage. And it sounds like this: I don't fully trust this yet. I'm waiting to see who they really are. Everyone shows you their best self at the beginning. And while some discernment is healthy, there comes a point where the evidence is in, where the patterns have proven themselves consistent, where the person in front of you has shown you again and again who they actually are, and you're still waiting for the mask to drop, not because there is a mask, but because your nervous system doesn't know how to trust what it can't find a flaw in. Ask yourself, honestly, are you watching for real red flags? Or are you creating the case for them because trusting fully feels more dangerous than staying partially closed? Because one is wisdom, and the other is fear wearing the costume of wisdom. Number eight, peace feels like the absence of love. We talked about this in a previous video, but it deserves its own space here. Because this is one of the most common reasons people leave good relationships and go back to painful ones. If your nervous system learned love in an environment of chaos, then peace will feel like something is missing. Calm will feel boring. Steadiness will feel like distance. Ease will feel like lack of passion. And so the relationship that asks nothing of you in terms of emotional survival, the one where you don't have to brace yourself or read the room or manage their emotions just to get through the day, doesn't feel like love. It feels like nothing, even when it is everything. And this is where so many people make the most heartbreaking mistake. They leave. They go back to the fire because the fire at least made them feel alive, not understanding that what they felt was alive was anxiety, was hypervigilance, was their nervous system in constant threat response. That is not aliveness, that is survival. And you deserve to know the difference between being alive and just barely surviving. If you spent years pushing away the people who showed up right for you, if you've stayed too long in the ones that asked you to survive them, if you've confused the presence of anxiety for the presence of love, I want you to know something. You were not wrong for feeling that. You were not broken for living that. You were doing exactly what your nervous system learned to do to keep you safe. But safety has a new definition now. It is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of peace. It is not the rush of being chosen after being uncertain. It is the quiet of being chosen and knowing it will still be true tomorrow. It is not the intensity of surviving someone. It is the freedom of being loved by someone you don't have to survive. That is available to you, not someday, not when you're fully healed, not when you've figured out every pattern and processed every wound. Now, with the wound still healing, with the pattern still being learned, with the imperfect, still growing, worthy right now version of you that showed up to this video today. You are allowed to be loved well. You always were. Now let yourself believe it. Before you go, thank you. Genuinely, deeply, thank you for spending this time here today, for showing up for yourself, for choosing to understand yourself a little more than you did before. If this video resonated with you, please like it. Share it with someone who needed to hear this today. You never know whose life changes because you decided to pass it on. And if you haven't subscribed yet, Right now is the moment. Turn on your notifications. Stay close because what's coming to this channel is going to keep going deeper. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the 10 reasons hit closest to home for you. I want to know. I read every single one, and I'll be right there in the comments. Take care of yourselves. Be gentle with yourselves. Stay blessed. God bless you always. Inner Echoes Collective. I will see you in the next one.